Hi, I would welcome you to this series of videos to develop the applications of the World Capital Cities quiz. As I mentioned before, we need to start create two classes. One of the classes is a contract or a bridge between our applications and the database, and the other one is actually defining the tables. So let's go and start straight away. The first table we're going to call it, for instance, questions. Now we've got questions. Here it is. Here's questions, and you don't need anything with that one. It's questions, and in the questions we define the variables reflect as a bridge between the application and databases is actually the attributes or the columns and the attributes of the tables we're going to use. The first one, the question for instance, and the question is usually it's type string. So I'm going to call it, for instance, we call it question like this, and the questions like this. The second one is private. And we're going to call it, for instance, the options, because these are the options. That's a string as well. Option one, like this. And same thing, so private. I'll just take this one here, or just copy it private. String. Option two. Option two. And private. String. Option three. Got option three. And the other thing is, we need to say which one of these options is going to be the answer. So that's going to give us the ID of the option. So that's going to be an integer. So private, and say for instance, answer number. So I can say answer number like this. Right now. Find this one. Already now we need to create an object, create a constructor. There's the constructor. So we go here, generate, and gets constructor, and I says on all of this here. It is, and that's generated for us. Of course, so here it is. So I put it like that. Be all appropriate. This. This is a typical. This one's here is a typical object-oriented. Of course, need set and gets for this one. It is. So again, right-click, generate. Yeah, all setters and getters. It is here for all of them. Yes, of course, we need all of them here. And okay, and that's all generated for us. So we need that for set and gets to get the right answers and so on. So this is going to cause us a bridge between the two. The applications and the database, the SQLite database we're going to create. Of course, doing this, we need to create, generate constructor, and we need to get a constructor with right default constructor. So I'm going to just do default constructor like that. Remove this one here, right? Easy way to do it. That's going to give me a default constructor. It's here. And we go here. And here's the table or the class base generated for us. Of course, there's no need for this one here. That's the next one here. So we created the tables here, the questions class. Now, what we're going to create, we need to create definitions of all of that. So say this definitions class Java, and I'm going to call, for instance, a quiz contract. Here's the quiz contract, right? And the quiz contract is part of it here. There's a quiz contract, and we can consider this is final. So it calls that's final here, and here it is. So we've got the class like that. The idea of this class, this is a container, a class. So this one, you can say this is a container. Container class that hold inner classes where each class represent a table in our application. enters. Because of that, the table applications, we got only one table in our case. So that table, as usually, we've got the questions and the answers for the quiz table. So, right, then we're going here, for instance, and I'm going to say public class. That's an inner class, so I'm going to just put it here. I'm going to say create an inner class. Reflecting the table. Here it is. So a public class, I'll call it question table, for instance. I call it which is static, so can access static. We call static, just we don't need actually to create an object. If I put this public class and call it first question table, right? What we need to do, but before we do that, here it is. So enter, so I can create private, no, private, I need public strings, so I can access them. If I want private, I cannot access them. Public string, static, I'm going to say static here. Final, there's string. The first one, the table name. There it is. Another string. There it is. Table name, I will say that's equal to, we'll call the table, we're going to call it quiz, for instance, a quiz table, like this. Or quiz questions, questions, right? Or call it capital cities, it's up to you, whatever you want to call this one. Right, we can call that, for instance, capital city. Capital city quiz. It is. So that's the table name. It is. The other things, we need to get the questions and the answers. So before I go any further, it's public. To this one, static. Again, final. So I can add one of these strings. And I'm going to say, for instance, the questions, right? So I'm going to call, for instance, question equal, and I'm going to call it, for instance, questions. So that's what the question is, right? We're going to set the questions in this column. Because if you put this one as public static, right, so that's, you can access them. However, this is column. It is. The word is columns here. This one. So, all right. Columns there. Right. And here, what it do? We don't need to create an object. In this case, we have to create an object to access all of these. So to make sure we use the class name to access these, we just put public and put word static. So that allows us actually to use the class name. We can say question table dot table name. So to access one of them. And of course, same thing. Public. I'll just take this once here. One of them here. Copy it. That is. There we go. And of course, this is going to be. I'm going to call them options. Option one, for instance, and I'm going to call this one option 1. There it is. Option 1. So that's actually works just what we created before. This is exactly the same, right? That's a bridge, which is that's representing actually the entities in our database. So the same things. So I go to that is option 2, and this is option 3, and again which is this one. This is 3, and this is 2. And of course, last thing we're going to need is the answer and number. So the same thing. Let's put this one here, and I'm going to say just answer or column, and I'm going to say answer, for instance, number equal, and I'm going to say this. So that's going to be answer So that's all being created, and that's inner tables in here. Now, if you notice, there's no primary key. In order to do primary key at this, so it can implements, and only need just implements a base column as base column. Right, at this, and that's already displayed here. So what's going to happen if you look at this one here, and we can control B at this, it tells us that's the one we need. So this one, the ID underscore ID, this is actually going to use as primary key increase usually automatically. Now we create the two tables, the two class, a class which hold the data. We can create database inside the tables as